Good morning. This is Kara. Welcome to Glazing with Amico. And today, by special request, I'm talking about saturation gold, which is a glaze that has been around in the PC line for a number of years, but we do still get a lot of questions about it. It's one of the older glazes that can be a little temperamental at times, especially if you're new to glazing, especially new with Glazing's PC glazes. So I made a test tile because one of the most frequent complaints we get about saturation gold is not that you can't get the jar lid off, is actually that it's not coming out gold, it's coming out black. And the reason that does happen is because of thickness of application. If you're not getting a thick enough application of saturation gold, sorry, I think I put PC4 on the comment. This is an older jar and you can see it's gotten rather crusty. If you're not putting a thick enough application, it will come out black. You do need to get at least 3 heavy coats of saturation gold on the application. So I made a tile with 3, 4, 5, and 6 coats to show how it can come out black at 3 coats, and of course mine came out gold. 3 coats is gold, 4 coats is gold, 5 coats is gold, 6 coats is gold. But you will notice that 6 coats is like a lighter, more lustrous gold. Now sometimes I do get comments that people are expecting this to come out shiny gold like a luster. It does not. It is a satin matte gold, but it is a really, really rich color. So it almost looks like burnished bronze. And if you're using thick and thin, you can see around the edges here where the tape, where it kind of was around the tape, it does have a little bit of black more than gold. So I'm going to show you a piece in a minute that was glazed with saturation gold a long time ago and talk about that. But first I'm going to actually get a coat on this jar. So I'm going to do the outside of the jar with the saturation gold. I'll be doing the inside with a different glaze later. I'm going to take this all the way to the bottom. Saturation gold really doesn't run unless it's layered with something. If you're using it alone, it's actually pretty stiff, doesn't really go anywhere. Now it is labeled food safe, so it does not leach lead or cadmium, but I have heard of instances where it has been changed by food. So it may be food safe, but it is not safe from food. So although it may not leach, it does it is affected by acids, and you may want to use it for some other non-food surfaces. So dishwashers can change it over time, make it less lustrous. But it will not oxidize. So if you've ever used Raku glazes, they can change over time and lose their metallic luster. So there's one coat. I'll just set that aside. Clean up my table so I don't get raw glaze on the thing I'm going to show you next. So this is a, well, I called it a watering can when I made it. This is a vessel that I made a number of years ago. It is thrown and altered and has some hand-built areas. You can see that this was made with stamps, and it is glazed inside and out with PC2 saturation gold, and it does have some pitting, which was due to two things. One was the clay body had a lot of sulfur in it, and two was that it was a fast firing. So after making this, I did learn to slow down the firings and moved away from using this particular clay body for this particular glaze, although I have found that if I use this clay body with other glazes or on a slow firing, it works just fine. So you can see this is 3 coats. It's got a little schmutz on it. It's a little dusty. It sits on my shelf. But you can see 3 coats, very nice kind of antique looking bronzy sort of thing. But what I really wanted to show you is how it looks on the textured areas, and I think that that's just really beautiful, how it where it's thick and thin. Where it goes thicker, it's going to be more gold, and where it's thinner, it's going to be black. So one of the things that I did here was that I did 2 very, very heavy coats, and then went back and did another coat where it was kind of more of a dry brush effect on the higher parts. It might have been 3 coats and then a 4th coat on the higher parts. But you can see how where it's thick, it's very, very gold. Where it's thinner, it's a little bit more black. But one of my favorite glazes for those kind of decorative surfaces. So 1 coat is dry, and of course those who know and have seen my videos before, you understand that I am a very generous glazer. So when I say 3 coats, that may be closer to 4 coats for some people, depending on how they apply glaze. You'll notice that when I apply glaze, that I'm kind of floating it on the surface. I don't let the brush drag or reach a point where it's dry. I want it to really just spread the glaze on. Tracy Gamble described in her video, which is on our PC page, about floating the glazes on. And that is my inspiration for how to apply glaze, PC glaze with a brush, is floating the glaze on. So that's 2 coats. Now when that is totally dry to the touch, I'll apply a 3rd coat and fire it to cone 5. It will go to cone 6 just fine. It looks great at cone 6. It's not as temperamental as some glazes, but I do like to fire it at cone 5. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them later. Again, saturation gold, different thicknesses, but even 3 coats, still very gold. Just be sure to apply it generously, and you should not have any troubles. Thanks so much. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a great day and happy glazing.
عالم الهوايات بأسعار الجملة، تشتري خامات مضمونة ومواصفات عالمية.